Hello there, how are you today? I want to talk about humble. What is that? How do you view yourself with it? And how do others view this sort of word towards you, actually? How do they perceive you? But first, hi, my name is Sheila Noel, and thank you for this conversation. So, humble. If you know what that word means, I will probably put the definition above. But culturally, at least for me, it has always been something of, stay quiet, be, soft, don't allow others to see the accomplishments that you have made, or even more so, which has affected me, I believe, is people don't want to see the confidence in you. And I remember having done a few shorts about confidence. This is so important for me, speaking this message to you, so whatever comes out will come out, because I did not prepare. Being humble is something that you have within, but at the same time, if you've been humble all your life, you need to learn how to show that you are you are sure of yourself. You trust yourself. Being humble does not mean that you can't defend who you are. There have been so many times where your the light that you shine is dimmed because others cannot receive it yet. So they tell you, oh, you have to be humble. Have you heard that before? Has anybody told you, oh, be humble? Sure. There's the act of being humble. You won't know what the left hand has given to the right hand, or what the left hand has given the right hand should not know. But that doesn't mean that you should allow other people to put you down when they shouldn't, to allow their fears to come to you. To you. You should not allow other people's perspective of that word, their own definition of being humble, to come in and just transform who you are, because you know what you do. And the thing that I was reminded of, and I have to mention, because I do watch a few YouTube channels that have an effect on me, and I'm grateful for them. So yesterday I was watching Nero, and he has quite an insight. And if you need more information about that, you should go and watch his channel, because there are so many versions that he explains that that would better benefit you, if you will. But in relation to me and my experience, people have tried to really put me down in terms of confidence. And it was from a very young age. It was cultural, of course. It was just, and maybe you can relate to that. But something in me knows who I am. And I had to develop this. And now that I understand who I am to the core, and this is what I'm teaching a lot, is the self-confidence part, because I've been through that. I've been through, close friends or even family members really projecting their fears onto me. And coworkers, of course, and it's not until I understood the pattern that I had to tell myself, you know who you are. You know who you are. They don't know who you are, because you are always changing. And if you want to grow, you have to grow as a human being. You have to allow yourself to change. And a lot of people will not understand that change yet. And it's sad, because a lot of people will not understand that change until you've reached a certain level of success, of what they deem to be successful. But know that the change is within, the change is yours, it's your experience. And whatever people may say should not deter you from continuing that goal, continuing the pursuit of that goal. So yes, be humble. Sure, we can be humble, and that doesn't mean that you have to be unkind. You have to be respectful and be kind to others, but at the same time, know who the hell you are. If you don't, life will show you who they want you to be, who it wants you to be, and you're not gonna like it. So if you don't understand who the hell you are, how can you, after a few practices, allow others to really understand who you are? Does that make sense? You say you want to become this, embody this person, this version of you, and stick to the morals, the character, the behavior. And yes, confidence is something that can be built. It's not necessarily something that people have, from birth. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, I don't know. But I sure didn't. I had to work my way into becoming confident. I know who I am. And you should know who you are. If this aligns with you, hear me now. Do not allow other people's fear to come to yours, to your energy. Do you want to become them? Or do you want to be your higher self? These are questions that you have to ask yourself over and over. And yes, maybe it takes time, or what you perceive to be as time. But this is a lifelong journey, a lifelong experience, and you're not just doing it for 30 days. You're doing it because this version of you is a stepping stone to becoming the version that can help others in the future. So it doesn't matter what they say. It matters what you think. And what do you think? What do you believe about yourself? And stick to that. I hope I wasn't harsh. But I think based on experience, certain emotions go deep. And the passion really comes out in me sometimes. And there's a saying that says, main de fer, gants de velours, which means iron fist and a velvet glove. So it basically means tough love, right? I had to give myself tough love. And of course, I give myself grace every single day for the person that I've become, the person that I was and I'm no longer, the old me that had to be who she is now. I am grateful. But that old me also knows that there has been versions that were not her. There has been versions based on childhood, based on society, that I've unconsciously adopted, and now I've just let go. And you should too. Find out what that is to you. So this is me free flowing, I guess. But yeah, realize that the more you develop the confidence, the security within, oh my gosh, that word, feeling safe within yourself, no matter what happens. I did watch a podcast again from Tony Robbins, and something did make me cry. And he mentioned that some people do not feel safe even having a certain amount in the bank, right? And that is to tell you that this idea of feeling safe is something that you should cultivate even before your manifestation. And you will hear a lot of gurus talk about this. You will hear a lot of gurus mentioning feel safe before, or feel your desire before you have it. And a lot of it is the feeling of feeling safe, loved, seen, appreciated, all of those things, right? So yeah, if you want a certain amount, why do you want this certain amount? Is it for you to show off? And when you go and show off, right, is that, where does that stem from? Is it because you didn't have anything when you were younger, or you've experienced something when you were younger and it affected you so deeply, and now you want to feel the opposite of what you felt? A lot of things do happen when you're young, and it is masked. There's a veil that comes about when you get older, because for me at least, I had to go and relive a moment in my childhood that I never thought of as a trauma, or the word trauma for me, as it wasn't, I didn't perceive it as that. But I had to go back and understand that, this is a form of trauma that I had to cope with, that I had to, help that inner child feel safe, feel appreciated or loved or something like that. But the veil of, after having experienced certain things, it didn't seem so relevant. It didn't seem so deep, but it in fact, that little thing was, it actually was, or is, yes, was deeper than I realized. So understand this for yourself, and knowing okay, I'm going off topic here, but I hope that you can understand where I'm coming from. And the topic was being humble. And sure, I know that I am kind. And there was a saying that said, do not allow yourself to say that you are kind. But I know who I am. Others could tell you that as well. But now this is where I disagree, right? Because you can be somebody's villain. And so they may not view you as kind. They may not view you as polite or something, because maybe the way that maybe a certain way that you speak may trigger them, because everybody has their own experience. So now, are you going to accept what they say? You can get data from it and understand why. Maybe if you get the opportunity to, don't go dive into other people's past. It's not worth it. Sometimes it's really not. But understand that you know who you are, so you can't allow that person to say, oh, you're not kind, or you're not this, or you're not that, because they have a version of you and you have your own version. And two truths can happen in the same space, where you also need to be a good citizen, where you show value and you show how to be polite. Your mannerism need to showcase outside, but know who you are. Yeah, I guess that's it. And if this is something that aligns to you, I do want to tell you that it's okay. It does take time. And maybe if you have had frustration in the past for, oh my gosh, I am not confident, or I know that being confident is also like, you don't have to be, how can I explain this in a better way? Don't allow people who mention that you should be humble to diminish the confidence that you should keep within, because their version of being humble means that they see you as arrogant, and that is where you need to draw the line, because your confidence sometimes intimidates people, and that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. And when it becomes when they try to make it become a you problem, you need to put a boundary, because you've worked too hard to be where you are today, to allow other people's fears to come and teach you, about being humble. Does that make sense? Because there are so many things, that you may do in the background that they don't see. You don't know. They don't know. You may be the most generous person. They won't know, because you won't say that. And that's good. And that is humble. You don't have to boast about your, what you do. I mean, you should at this point, because they already think that you are, arrogant. So you should boast about what you do. But draw the line now. Make sure you draw the line when people say that. And the reason why I'm so passionate about that is because it has happened to me. Don't mistake kindness for me not knowing who I am. And I hope this message finds you, because you probably needed to hear that as well. Okay, I gotta go.